This is Anil with a video tutorial for the Learning Lad on C programming. In this video tutorial, we're gonna see the arrays in C. Before explaining what is an array and how we can use it in our program, let me explain you where we can use it. So if you create a normal variable, then we can store only one value at a time. If you want to store another value, then you have to create another variable and save that value in that variable. Suppose if you have to store the roll number of 100 students, then you have to create 100 variables and as in that values. So if the size increases, suppose you have to store the 1000 roll numbers, then creating 1000 variables and assigning the values is not the preferred method. For that purpose, we can use arrays in C. So we can say that an array is a collection of similar elements. So these similar elements can be of type integer or floating point or character or any other data type. So now we're gonna see how we can create an array in our program and use it. So it's similar to creating a variable. To use a variable, we have to declare it. Similarly, to use an array, we have to declare it. And first we're gonna write the type of data that's gonna be stored in the array. Just note that in an array we can store only one type of data. So if you have an array of integers, then you can only store the integer types of data in that array. So in this example, we're gonna create an array to store the marks of our one exam or 6 subjects. So it's gonna be of type integers. So I'm gonna write int, then we have to write the array name. It's gonna be marks and a semicolon. In between these square brackets, we have to specify the size of array. So in this example, we're gonna store 6 values or the 6 marks. That's gonna be the size of 6. So save it. So next we're gonna see how we can store the data in this array. Before that, let me tell you, when this compiler executes this statement, it's gonna create a 6 position or location to store the values for this marks array. So we're gonna have 6 locations to store the values. In arrays, the first location is considered as the 0th position. So it's not gonna start from 1 to 6, it's gonna be from 0 to 5. Since these array elements are numbered from 0, our first element will be at the position 0 and the last element will be 1 less than this size. That's gonna be 5. And now we're gonna see how we can store the value in this array. To store the value is similar to assigning values to a variable. First we're gonna write this array name, and within this we are gonna specify the location. So since we are gonna store the value in the first position, we're gonna specify 0. That's because array numbering start from 0, then we have to specify the number. Now here I'm gonna save 35. Then similarly, if you want to store another value, then it's gonna be at the position 1, and we're gonna assign it to a value of 45. So similarly we can do for 2, 3 and 4 and 5, but this arrays provides another easy way to initialize it. I'm gonna delete this, and here after we specify this array type and size of this array, we're gonna write an equal to sign, and within this curly braces we have to write the values separated by commas. So I'm gonna write 35 comma 45 comma 55 comma 65 or 75 and 85. So here we are storing 6 values, and they will be assigned to marks of 0, marks of 1 and up to marks of 5. Just for the demonstration purpose, I'm gonna create another array of type float. Then I'm gonna call or give it a name average to store the average of around 2 students. It's gonna be the size of our average array is gonna be 2. So here I'm gonna write okay, it's gonna be average. Then here at the first location we're gonna save and floating point value is gonna be 65.5. Then at the average of 1, we're gonna save a value of 75.8. Another thing I want to tell you is, if you are initializing array using this method, then you don't have to, or it's not necessary to specify the size here. You can leave it blank. Let's see how we can retrieve the values from this array. We're gonna write a printf to print the values, and we're gonna print this value of 35. We're gonna write this %d, a new line, then add a comma, and first we're gonna write this array name. Then within the square brackets we have to specify the position. Since this 35 will be stored in the position 0, we have to use 0 here. I'm gonna copy this and paste it 2 more times. So in a second printf, we're gonna print the value at the position 0, 1, 2, 3. So our fourth value will be at the third position in the array. That's gonna be 0, 1, 2, 3. So in the last printf statement, we're gonna print this last value. That's gonna be 85, which is present at the location 5 in the array. So save it, compile it, and run it. So as you can see, we have printed 35. That's the first value, which is at the position 0. Then 65, that's the fourth value, which is at the position 3, and 85, which is the sixth value, that's at the position 5. Close it. Similarly, we can print this a floating point value here. Here we have to specify this %f format specifier for the floating point value. Then we're gonna refer this average array, and we're gonna write which value we want to print. We want to print this 65.5, which is at the position 0. So I'm gonna specify here, save it, compile it, and run it. So as you can see here, this 65.500 is gonna be from this average array. So let's have a recap what we have learned till now. So first we created an array. So an array is a collection of similar elements. So in this example we have created this integer array, so we can only store this integer types of data in this array. We can initialize this array using this method, or we can initialize using this method. So if you are using this curly braces and you're writing the values, then you don't have to specify the size here. The compiler will automatically allocate the size for you. This is how we can assign the values to this array. To print or access the value from that array, we have to specify the location from where we want to get the data. So here this array's positioning start from 0 and it's not from 1. So the size or the last element in the array will be present at the position 1 less than the size of the array. So this is it. This is about the arrays, and in the next tutorial we're gonna see some more information about these arrays. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.